All right, let's get right into it. We all sleep, right? We spend about a third of our lives doing it. But what if I told you the way you sleep could be secretly controlling how fast you actually age? Today, we're going to unpack the incredible science behind your brain's nightly cleanup crew and what it really means for you. It seems like a simple question, but the answer is pretty mind-blowing. This isn't just about feeling groggy or refreshed the next day. We are talking about biological aging, right down at the cellular level. So, is there some kind of magic number of hours that could actually slow down the clock? Well, it turns out there just might be. Researchers dug into the data from the UK Biobank, which is this enormous, long-term health study, and they found something incredible. They pinpointed a specific window of sleep that really seems to be the sweet spot for keeping ourselves young. And what they found is this really interesting U-curve. You'd think that not enough sleep is bad, and maybe more is always better, right? Well, not exactly. Getting 5 hours or less was linked to faster aging, but so was getting 9 hours or more. Both ends of the spectrum seem to speed up the aging process, with 7 hours sitting right there in that sweet spot. Okay, so this is the real million-dollar question, isn't it? Seeing this pattern in hundreds of thousands of people is one thing, but why is it happening? What's going on deep inside our brain cells that makes 7 hours so critical? To figure that out, we need to zoom in, way in. So let's leave that huge population data behind for a second and dive into the microscopic world. Every single cell in your body, and especially your brain cells, has its own tiny cleaning crew working around the clock. The fancy scientific name for this whole operation is proteostasis. I know, proteostasis is a bit of a mouthful, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Think of it as your cell's quality control department. All day long, your cells are building billions of proteins. This system's job is to make sure they're all folded into the perfect shape to do their jobs. And, maybe even more importantly, it has to take out the trash, getting rid of any proteins that are broken or misfolded. Now, the headquarters for this whole operation, the main factory floor, is a part of the cell called the endoplasmic reticulum, or just the ER for short. And while you're awake, thinking, and moving, this factory is running at full tilt, just churning out and checking proteins nonstop. But what happens when that factory never gets a break? What happens when that cleaning crew is just slammed, working overtime day in and day out? Well, that's where the trouble really starts. See, just like any system, the ER can get totally overwhelmed, and the science is really clear on this. Not getting enough sleep puts the ER under something called ER stress. The quality control line gets backed up, and all that cellular trash, these misfolded proteins, it just starts to pile up. When that happens, the cell hits the panic button. It triggers an emergency protocol called the unfolded protein response. It's a multi-stage alarm system. First, it senses the trash piling up. Then it tries to boost its helpers, making more little chaperone proteins to deal with the mess. If that doesn't work, it actually pauses all new protein production to try and catch up. But, and this is the absolute kicker, if the stress just keeps coming, the cell can actually trigger a self-destruct sequence. That's how serious this garbage pileup is. And this, right here, is where everything clicks into place. This pileup of cellular junk isn't just a sign of getting old. It is directly connected to some of the most devastating diseases of the brain. In fact, this aggregation of misfolded proteins isn't just some side effect. It's a hallmark, a defining feature of many neurodegenerative diseases. We're talking about the toxic protein clumps you hear about in conditions that affect millions and millions of people. And just look at this. This chart lays it out perfectly. Across the board, whether it's Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or Huntington's, you see the exact same pattern. Each disease shows clear evidence of this cellular stress, and right alongside it, each one is strongly linked to major sleep problems. This is not a coincidence. The connection is undeniable. So, let's zoom back out. We started with this massive study of people, then we went all the way down to the molecules inside a single brain cell. So what does it all mean for you and me? How do we actually use the science? Well, it means that 7-hour sleep sweet spot isn't just some random number. It's the optimal shift length. It's the perfect amount of time for your brain's cleaning crew to get in there, clear out all the junk from the day, and repair the system without being overworked or underutilized. And the potential here is just huge. As the researchers Hafich and Nadeau put it themselves, this connection is so strong that Improving sleep quality and relieving cellular stress could serve as critical target areas for therapeutic intervention. This isn't just about feeling better. This could be a real pathway for fighting these diseases. So, at the end of the day, sleep isn't a luxury. It's not lazy, it's essential maintenance for the most complex machine in the known universe. It's the only time your brain really gets to clean house. So knowing that, what's one small thing you could change starting tonight to invest in your own future brain health?